Let me break something to you. Most of your Etsy listings are going to fail, but that's not actually a horrible thing. In this video, I'm going to show you how you can use your current Etsy listings to improve your sales. And all of that with a bag of M&Ms. If you're new here, I'm Daniel and I've been running Etsy stores for a couple of years now. In addition to that, I also have a master's degree in business and I've spent my professional career teaching at big consulting and tech companies around the world. I myself have had success on Etsy by applying tried and tested business strategies that I've learned throughout my career. And now I want to use this platform to share some of those strategies with you to help you build a smarter Etsy business for yourself. So let's get into it, shall we? Regardless of if you've just started on your Etsy journey or you've been around for a while now, you've probably felt that pressure, right? That relentless push to create those perfect listings that just take off and get you thousands of sales. When I started on Etsy, that's the mindset that I had. I was spending so much time on crafting what I thought were perfect listings, expecting each one of them to be an absolute home run. And then I would just end up getting frustrated when they weren't. But after a while, I came to terms with the fact that not every shot is going to be a home run. And that's actually okay. It's not a bad thing. At the end of the day, it all comes down to M&Ms. So in this glass, we have all of our beautiful M&Ms. Now let's imagine that this glass is our Etsy store and all of the M&Ms, they represent our Etsy listings. Now the blue ones, these are our winners. These are the listings that get you the most sales. They're your best sellers. And a bestseller doesn't necessarily have to be one that rakes in thousands of sales on a regular basis. It just has to be your best sellers. So it could have 5 sales, for example. The other colors are a mixture of flops and those listings performing okay in your store. They're getting limited views and maybe a few sales now and then. So we're obviously interested in the blue ones. And if I wanted to pull one of them out of the glass, that would be fairly easy for me to do if I'm just looking at the glass, right? But sadly, Etsy isn't as easy as that. You simply don't know beforehand which products or listings are going to do well and which aren't. So it's more like you trying to dig around in the glass for the blues with a blindfold on. I myself have published hundreds of Etsy listings throughout my career, and I'll be honest with you, a lot of them haven't done well. And I can promise you for a fact that I'm not alone on this. In the business world, this is sometimes referred to as the Pareto principle. It sounds complicated and you may never have heard of it before, but that's fine, it's actually pretty simple to understand. It's often called the 80-20 rule, and it suggests that in many situations, 80% of our results come from just 20% of the efforts we put in. Now, this principle can be applied to lots of aspects of our lives, but when we're looking at our Etsy stores, what we're basically saying is that a small percentage of our listings can be the cause of the majority of our sales. And in our case, those high-performing listings are the blue ones. So it makes sense for us to prioritize these higher-performing listings. It's essentially a game of maximizing efficiency and making the most out of what already works best for us. So let's have a think about how we can do this strategically. Our goal is to increase the number of blues in the glass so that the odds of pulling one out when blindfolded is higher. One way we can do this is to find the blues that we already have in the glass and double down on them. I've already proven that they're more popular than my other listings, so now I want to dig deeper into them. In the UK you say, milk it for what it's worth. Do you say that in the US as well? So for example, let's say I have a sports themed Etsy store and I'm selling 4 t-shirts. Each t-shirt features a different sport but the same design. After 3 months, I look at my sales data and see that the soccer shirt is my best seller. That's my blue M&M, and I now want to really double down on this. If this design works really well on t-shirts, maybe it'll also be popular on other products. So I could try adding that exact same soccer design to other products and listing them, such as sweatshirts, mugs, cushions, you name it. Or I could also decide to focus more broadly on the soccer niche itself, and perhaps experiment with some different soccer related designs across different products. There are lots of different ways for you to do this, but the most important thing is that you're testing the market and making data-driven decisions. By doing this, you'll be creating listings based on data and evidence rather than just a hunch. It's something that can really separate your store from others. Big brands actually do this as well. Zara, for example, releases smaller batches of their fashion items to stores to test the market. They'll analyze the data that comes in, and then they'll scale up production on those fashion items that have proven to be popular based on that data, and they typically won't restock those that aren't proving to be popular or selling well. If you feel like you're learning something and you'd like to continue learning business strategies that you can apply to your Etsy store, then I would love it if you would subscribe below. I post weekly videos and would love to see you around again. And why not click that like button while you're at it? But it's not only your best listings that can give you strategic insights, your bad ones actually can too. Every listing is going to feel like a blue M&M in the beginning. And that's just normal, right? I mean, what's the point in creating it if you don't think it's going to sell? So it can be frustrating when they end up being yellow M&Ms or even worse, brown ones. But I want you to think differently. Instead of getting down on yourself about the listings not doing well, I want you to use each one of those as a learning opportunity. A lesson about what niches are popular, what types of mockups and images work and don't work, and which tags, titles, and descriptions get views and sales versus those that maybe don't. Try to do a side-by-side comparison of some of your better listings versus some of your lower performing listings and see what the differences are. What is something that might be different or might be missing from that bad listing that you can learn from to improve next time you go about listing some products? I think it's really important to have this mindset, and I think it's really helped me personally along the way. You'll never really feel like a failure if your goal is just to learn something with each new listing you publish. Now the good news is that you can actually see what color M&M all of your listings are in your Etsy store today. Let's have a look at how you can do that. So we've popped over to one of my Etsy stores and we're currently looking at the statistics or the stats page. And as you can see here, you can just see the usual graph that you can see at the top of the screen. Now what we're interested in is actually at the bottom of this page. And I'm interested in understanding these stats over the course of the whole of last year so that we can get a good idea of which listings are doing well and which maybe aren't doing as well. So I'm going to adjust the date at the top here in this drop down, and I'm going to pick this year. And that's now going to update my stats up here. And if I now scroll all the way to the bottom, you'll be able to see individual statistics for each of your listings. By default, this is going to be ranked or sorted by the number of views in descending order. I'm interested in the revenue in this case. So I'm going to click on the revenue button over here. And this now ranks my products by revenue in descending order. So at the top here, these listings are my best performers. As you can see here, 47, 40, 35 orders. And then if I scroll down, you can see here we have different listings that are on 0 orders. So these are obviously my worst performing listings. So this is a way for us to see which of our listings are performing well and which aren't performing well. So what I could now do is I could deep dive into these listings and do those side-by-side comparisons to understand, okay, what are the differences here between this listing, which got me 47 sales over the past year, versus those that haven't gotten any sales at all. And there we have it, friends. Who knew that M&Ms could change how we think about our Etsy stores? As your homework for this session, I want you to analyze your best performing listings versus those that aren't doing well, and jot down 3 to 5 things that you think could be done better on those listings that aren't doing well for yourself. And if you're willing to share them, I would love to hear about your findings in the comments below. And I'm sure others would be really curious to read them as well. I'd love to see you next time when I share more insights and business strategies, so be sure to subscribe and like this video, and I'll see you around.